Okay, let's have our introduction to pharmacokinetics. These are just basic things, no? And I believe we are all like knowledgeable of this one. Let's just have a little review to refresh and to be able to be prepared para sa mga topics natin moving forward with the subject. So, let's start. Again, this is introduction to pharmacokinetics. Let's have a little review. Siyempre, why do we need to study this one, our clinical pharmacokinetics? Remember, as a pharmacist, we have to ensure na we give the correct drug treatment for our patient. And when we say correct drug treatment, that includes tamang drug na ibibigay natin sa patient. Tama din ang dose, the dosing interval or the dosage regimen. Okay? But before that, syempre we studied pharmacology. We knew how these drugs act in the body, inside the body. We also study pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics. So for the pharmacodynamics, we study the effect of the concentration or the dose or the amount of drug in the body. And then for the pharmacokinetics, we study the dose or concentration relation, and at the same time, ano ang ginagawa ng body natin sa drug. Okay? So we study also the background of the patient, the disease state of the patient, and we study before we do or we decide what drug are we going to give. Syempre, we also consider a lot of factors. So that includes pharmacogenomics and genetics ng patient natin. That is included in the patient variability. And then we also study the toxicity of these drugs and other clinical factors. So all of this are being studied in pharmacy for us to answer a lot of questions before we make clinical decisions, okay, to ensure optimum drug outcome, okay, because we need to achieve the maximum of or the optimal therapeutic effect of the drug, pero hindi dapat natin ma-reach yung toxicity. And at the same time, we have to consider also yung the dosage regimen natin, okay? So hindi lang hanggang right drug, we have to consider also how often are we going to give that drug, how much of that drug is being given, and for how long are we going to treat the patient with that specific drug. Okay? But we will concentrate in pharmacokinetics. So sa pharmacokinetics, the first thing being considered here is the dose of the agent or the substance. So we do preclinical studies, like we use laboratory animals. We do in vitro studies, okay, for the dosing. And then we proceed with the conduct of the study to make the pharmacokinetic profile of the drug. So that involves collection of our samples. So most of the time, example, the blood, and then in the blood, we check the amount of drugs na umabot doon. And then from time to time, you have various time points. And then we analyze if it's like still the drug, the original drug, or it has undergone metabolism already. So, chine-check din natin yan, the amount of metabolites. We do analysis, and then again, the ending will be the formation of the pharmacokinetic profile of that kind of drug. Okay, so again, pharmacokinetics, what the body does to the drug, and from now up to the end ng subject na ito, we will be discussing the ADME, the absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion, the four fundamentals ng mga ng or four fundamental principles ng pharmacokinetics. Excuse me. But we will also touch some concepts sa pharmacodynamics. Oh, sorry. So, ano pakiramdam ko, but laban lang. Okay. Anyway, utilization of these pharmacokinetic principles in making sound decisions on what drug are we going to use, and then para ma-achieve natin yung optimum or maximum na outcome is called clinical pharmacokinetics. So we will be, again, discussing this one, starting with, syempre, the drug administration. And we all know that in drug administration, kung hindi siya intravenously given, the active ingredient needs to be liberated first. Okay? So there is the liberation first before you will have the absorption or the transfer of drug from the site of administration to the bloodstream. So in the absorption, we have lots of computations to determine the amount of concentration of that drug in the blood for a specific period of time. And then chine-check natin anong oras ba na-achieve natin yung maximum concentration na kailangan natin. Okay? That is for the absorption. However, sa absorption, hindi lang basta-bastang nagko-compute tayo. We also need to know a lot of things. Like, for example, the mechanism of transport. So sa mechanism of transport, we have this in our undergrad biopharmaceutics na subject. We have, like, for example, passive diffusion, which is governed by the Fick's law of diffusion. So for passive diffusion, diba, remember that is a long concentration gradient. The drug moves from a region of higher to lower concentration na region or area. Okay? And then, what else? For passive diffusion, we don't need energy. For this one, this is also not saturable, but we all know that not all of these drugs move via the passive diffusion. Now, we also have facilitated diffusion. That is still a long concentration gradient. It will not require energy, but this one is saturable because we have specialized transport proteins used for this kind of transport mechanism. So pag wala ng transport protein na naiwan, drug cannot move na from one region to another. Another thing is the active transport. It's the other way around. We need energy for this. This is also saturable because in the active transport, there is also the need for a specific or specialized transport proteins, okay, to help the drug move and pass through the cell membrane. Okay, so this requires energy because the movement is against the concentration gradient. It might be from a region of lower to higher concentration. So that is for the active transport. And then we also have like other mechanisms like yung endocytosis and the exocytosis. So for the endocytosis, that's the act of like engulfing the drug by the cell, okay, para papasok siya. So it can be phagocytosis or endocytosis, and the exocytosis is the other way around. So that's one thing that we need to consider also when we study the absorption of the drug. Okay. Aside from that, we also need to consider the factors influencing this absorption na process. So for example, the pH, that's one factor. For example, aspirin can most likely be absorbed if the area for absorption is also like acidic. Okay? Kasi diba pag basic na yung environment, magkakaroon na ng ionization of our drug, and pag may charge, hindi na siya basta-basta nakakapasok sa cell membrane. So other factors, we also have the blood flow in that absorption site, the surface area. So that is the reason why our large intestine is the major site of drug absorption, because of the presence of the villi and the microvilli. And what else? Contact time at absorption surface. So isa-isahin din natin yung mga factors involving doon sa contact time. And lastly, we have the presence of, or the expression of P-glycoprotein. It's a specialized protein in the body, and it can actually pump out drug. Actually, nakapasok na yung drug sa cell. However, because of the presence of the glycoprotein, it can be pumped out. So, ano yun siya? Problem yun siya with the absorption, and because of the glycoprotein, naging responsible siya for some multi-drug resistance cases natin. Okay? So, yun yung mga factors natin for absorption. Our goal is to have, as much as possible, mataas na bioavailability. Di ba? When you say bioavailability, that's the fraction of drug that reaches the bloodstream. So for intravenous administration, actually we don't have problem with the absorption no, kasi 100% bioavailable naman. But for some route of administration, medyo may problem tayo. So in the study of pharmacokinetics, we also consider factors na mag-influence sa bioavailability, like for first pass hepatic effect. So sa first pass effect, there are drugs na extensive na, for example, nitroglycerin, and that is the reason why we don't design it not to be given orally. So that's an important thing to consider in the study of the pharmacokinetics. Aside from that, we also have physical pharmacy. We study the physical property and chemical properties of the drug para ma-optimize din natin yung absorption, even in the design of the drug formulation. Okay? So that is for the absorption. So, intro pa lang ito ha. So, we need to dig deeper pa as we move on sa subject na ito. And then, after that, we also have distribution. So, we have to see to it that the drug moves from the blood to our tissues, and para makaabot siya sa mga target site natin. Pero meron din tayong factors na mag-a-affect sa distribution of the drug. For example, yung protein binding natin. Kasi may mga drugs tayong grabe yung protein binding, and it will affect yung pag-bind ng drug sa receptors, especially for example, ang receptor is intracellular. Hindi siya makakapasok sa cell. So, kasi masyadong malaki yung protein. So, lalaki yung molecule. Aside from that, we also study drug metabolism and excretion. Altogether, we call that elimination. So, for the metabolism, we all know that our major site of metabolism is the liver. However, we can also metabolize from the other parts of our body. Actually, meron tayong tatlong major metabolism na site. Number one talaga yung ating hepatic metabolism, but we can also have biliary metabolism and urinary metabolism. Okay? And then for the excretion, our major site naman is the kidneys. Okay, so for the kidneys, we studied the glomerular filtration, the proximal tubular secretion, and the distal na tubular reabsorption. Okay, so yan yung para sa ating excretion. But aside from that, ipatuloy na lang natin, no, aside sa ADME, since ang sunod nun is therapeutic effect na ng drug, magkakaroon din tayo ng discussion on some pharmacodynamics na concept. Wait lang, excuse me. Wait lang. Sorry. Let us continue. Again, sa pharmacodynamics, we will be discussing like the pharmacologic effect of the drug, but we will just talk a little about the different types of receptors. Example, for the nature of the receptors, kasi diba, most of the drugs would interact with this molecule or specialized structures in the body before they can elicit the pharmacologic effect. So 90% of our receptors are actually proteins, and then the remaining 10% can be lipids or nucleic acids. So for proteins, we have, for example, transport proteins like the sodium potassium ATPase, which is the target of our digoxin, no, before magkakaroon ng inotropic na activity. And then we also have regulatory proteins, which act as receptors for some endogenous substances in the body, like yung mga receptors ng neurotransmitters and hormones natin. Those are regulatory proteins. Meron din tayong structural proteins, like yung sa tubulin, which is the protein involved in the mitotic spindle. That is actually the target of the colchicine and the paclitaxel. Okay, and then syempre we also have enzymes that act as receptors, like dihydrofolate reductase enzyme, which is the target of the anti-cancer and the DMARDs methotrexate. Okay, so yun yung mga examples of receptors where the drug interact. But those are all proteins. Meron pa rin tayong lipids and nucleic acids. And since you are already in your second year sa MS, you are almost done. Excuse me. You will be doing your thesis na. If ever you want, meron din ba tayong tinatawag na orphan receptors? Medyo mahirap ito na study, but remember, when you say orphan receptors, these receptors, hindi pa natin alam yung ligand. So what is, ano ba yung ligand na nag-bind here para mag-elicit siya ng effect sa body? So orphan receptors ang tawag doon. Okay? So pwede natin siyang gawin. I just don't know if sa batch ninyo mag-experimental thesis kayo na study. Kasi sa batch namin, I graduated 2018 sa MS, lahat kami pina-experimental. Medyo mahirap siya, and medyo yung sa in terms of money, pero laban lang. Pero may mga succeeding na batches sa amin na pinayagan silang mag-SRMA and at the same time mixed method na research. Pero just in case, you may do a pharmacokinetics or pharmacodynamics na study. Okay, for your thesis. Hindi nga lang siya ganun kadali. Pero again, laban lang. Now, aside from that, remember, we also have 4 types of receptors. Meron tayong, kasi yung proteins, that's nature nature ng receptors natin, lipids or nucleic acid ba sila. But pag class talaga, 'di ba, in our undergrad na level, we study about the class 1, class 2, 3, and 4 na classes of receptors or 4 subtypes of receptors. Yung class 1, we call that the ionotropic na receptors. Ano siya? Ionotropic receptors associated with ligand-gated ion channels. So these type of receptors are found in the cell membrane and masyadong mabilis yung action nila once stimulated. So that is just millisecond. But ano itong class 1 receptors natin? If a drug or a ligand binds to the class of receptor, then meron siyang kapartner na ion channel na mag-o-open. So for example, the nicotinic receptor. If a ligand binds to the nicotinic receptor, sodium channel will be opened. So pag na-open na siya, sodium will enter the cell, and then remember, sodium is positively charged. The inside membrane of the cell will become more positive. So that's what we call the depolarization. So magde-depolarize ang cell, leading to its stimulation. So ma-stimulate ang cell pag pumasok na yung sodium. So ano siya? Ionotropic. Meron siyang kapartner na ion. Another example is the GABA receptor. Once, for example, GABA, since GABA is our ligand talaga, GABA will bind to the GABA receptor. Yung kapartner niya naman na ion na mag-o-open this time is the chloride channel. So chloride will enter the cell. However, chloride is negatively charged. Therefore, the inside membrane of the cell will become more negative. And hindi ma-stimulate, syempre, yung ating cell. Mag-decrease yung kanyang function. And from that, we will now see the difference between the action of the drug that acts on the nicotinic receptor and a drug that acts on the GABA receptor. So they both belong to class 1 receptors. Okay, that's ionotropic. The class 2 is the metabotropic receptor. This time, ang parang sequelae niya, yung partner niya, is not an ion anymore, but we have the G protein. So for the G protein, we have the GI, GS, and the GQ. So yung G protein naman yung ma-activate. And pag ang G protein ma-activate, pwede siyang mag-lead into the production of secondary messengers. So for example, GS, S is like stimulate. Ano yung stimulate niya? First, it will stimulate the enzyme adenylyl cyclase. And once the enzyme is activated, it will lead to the production of the secondary messenger camp or the cyclic adenosine monophosphate. So yan na yung magkukos ng pharmacologic effect in the body. So that's class 2. So example of a class 2 receptor or the metabotropic receptor is the muscarinic receptor. It's one of the receptor of our cholinergic drugs or our acetylcholine. Okay. And then what else? Class 3 is the enzyme link na receptor. So enzyme link naman, the drug will bind or the ligand will bind to the receptor, and in turn there will be an enzyme that will be activated, and most of the time that is the tyrosine kinase. Okay, so pag na-activate na si tyrosine kinase, then there will be a pharmacologic effect. So for example, insulin, pag si insulin mag-bind sa kanyang insulin receptor, tyrosine kinase will be activated, and then meron ng pharmacologic effect after. So that's it. And the last one before tayo, actually mabilis lang ito kasi this is just an introduction. So si class 4 is si intracellular receptor. So Intracellular meaning nasa loob ng cell. So medyo matagal yung effect kasi the drug needs to really enter to the cell before it can have the pharmacologic effect. So for example, yung ating tubulin na na-mention ko kanina, nasa loob siya ng cell because it make up the ang tawag dyan, mitotic spindle. So, di ba, that's the target of the colchicine and at the same time, the paclitaxel. So, nagiging receptor sila. Class 4 kasi nasa loob. So, yan yung under sa study ng ating pharmacodynamics. But we will also discuss clinical response, no? So, that includes the study of the, for example, quantal dose effect curve na i-check natin ano ba yung dose that is most effective for most of the population. And then meron din tayong dose and response sa patient. So we have to check the potency versus the maximal efficacy of the drug. So that's para makuha natin yung therapeutic benefit. And syempre, we will also study about like toxicity, though we have toxicology, no? Pero yung sa mga clinical pharmacokinetic parameters lang that will help us study the toxicity of the drug. So all throughout the subject, as we discuss the concepts, we will also have a lot of computations. We will be starting with the basic ones. Like we will start with the first order, zero order, and all the computations involved, like yung sa ang tawag dyan, elimination rate constant, and then the volume of distribution, the clearance of the drug also. It will help us also determine or study both the effect and the toxicity of the drug. So most of the computations will revolve around intravenous administration. However, if time permits, we can also have computations sa extravascular na routes. Pero medyo mahaba lang talaga no yung computation ng mga routes na yan. So kailangan talaga siya ng time. Okay? So this is in preparation also, not just with the exam sa subject ko, but for your comprehensive exam. Diba? Before you get to have your thesis, you will have your compre exam. And then last time, puro kasi computation yung naging exam nila. I was not the one who made the exam, pero as in, puro computation talaga. Kaya magde-discuss din tayo ng, like, pero simple computations na lang naman, kaya lang nakakalimutan na natin. Okay? So, yung sa exam naman sa subject, ganun pa rin naman, you'll have your midterm exam, but I guess that is just done online. And yung final exam, for those who are just in Davao City and near provinces, you will have your on-site exam. And yung mga nasa malayo, I think, you're permitted to have the online exam. So yun. Kumano to ko introduction? Yun na yung introduction ko, 5 slides. Do you have questions or clarification? I will be giving you a copy of this, though this is just 5 slides. Kasi introduction lang talaga siya. And then again, please wait. I am waiting still for the final class list for every section. And if meron ng ganon, please wait also for the distribution of the topics that you need to discuss in class. So yung sa topics na yon, kasali na dun yung date kung kailan nyo siya i-discuss, i-organize ko pa siya. Okay? Again, any concern or any question sa subject? Wala. So, laban lang tayo sa 12 to 3. Kalimit matulog na nga orasa. But, we'll have computations. Wala. Okay. Sige, so kung wala na, we'll have more of the pharmacokinetics next meeting. That will be on, date yan, August 3. That will be on August 17. Let's see each other via this one, Google Meet sa August 17 na siya. Okay? So again, just call me Ma'am Reza ha, if ever. Yung iba kasi na under na sa akin last time. Pero yung iba, I think hindi pa. Yes! Sino yung taas ng kamay? Hindi ko siya na... May question? Or napindot lang?
Napindot lang po.
Okay, sige. Okay, so again, you may leave the conference now. And let's see each other on August 17. I'll be uploading the material sa classroom later. Bye, everyone.